And even though we are talking ladies, I have to start with this because Carmelo Anthony
Oh
will be
yeah.
headlining the 2025 Hall of Fame class.
I love this. It is something that's definitely well deserved. I is this first ballot for him?
First ballot.
First ballot. Absolutely well deserved. Something that he wasn't able to obtain during his career was a ring, but I don't think you can tell the history of basketball without Carmelo. So definitely somebody that I'm like, yeah, he definitely deserves to be there. I had hoped in that last comeback that he was going to be able to finally get a ring. He actually looked really, really good coming off the bench in Portland. And he looked good coming off the bench in LA. We just know what happened in LA. So, had he stayed there in Portland and Dame stayed in Portland and all that worked out, I think it would have been that would have been the perfect fit right there. But when you come back and you hadn't been in the league and God, how long was it that gap where he wasn't in the league? Like 18 months, maybe 2 years.
I think
Uh,
close to
and then
2
he
years.
pops back in, plays for Portland, and he's in the running for sixth man of the year. So like you're still gonna get some great minutes out of Carmelo.
Carmelo Anthony deserve it. One of the most natural bucket getters to step foot on the
For
court.
sure. For sure.
That man can put the ball in the hoop better than anybody I have
And it
ever
was
seen in
almost
games.
the anniversary of the game where he had where it was just buckets. It was like 62 points, nothing else.
When you can put up 62 points, you don't need to do nothing else.
Right, indeed. Kobe was
Even
proud.
even though Jokic did put up 61 in a triple double.
He did. He did. Absolutely. What a crazy game.
So gotta give love to Carmelo Anthony. Well deserved, man.
Absolutely.
Happy for you, the headliner. Looking forward to seeing who will be joining you in 2025.
Agree.
That's gonna be interesting. Now, to get back to what I'm really here for, which is college basketball for the ladies side, the Naismith Awards have been revealed.
Oh, and I love this. So, somebody that didn't get to finish the tournament out due to injury, but we saw what she did all season long. She broke records throughout her sophomore season. Juju Watkins is our Naismith Award winner this year. I love that for her.
She's the player of the year on the Naismith side. Wish she grabbed the Wooden Award,
Right.
but she's the one at UCLA. They get coach of the year.
They did. And I think beating South Carolina is probably what got them to that point. And then also beating USC in the Big Ten tournament. Those two games, I think, were the defining moments to set her aside for that. And I will say, I don't dislike that choice. Her guard hasn't really shown up consistently this year. And so she did have to coach them around that. So I'm not mad at that pick.
And speaking of UCLA, Lauren Betts, defensive player of the year.
I well deserved. Yeah, there's nothing you can say about Lauren. I feel like in a negative manner. Um, we saw how important she was in that matchup with LSU, and had LSU still had somebody like Angel Reese in the lane, it would have maybe come out differently. But they didn't have Angel Reese this year, and so it's Lauren Betts here.
So Juju Watkins, Naismith player of the year. Cody Kurtz, the coach of UCLA, coach of the year, and Lauren Betts of UCLA, defensive player of the year for all the Naismith awards. Now we'll see. I think sometime this week, maybe at the half point of the first Final Four game, we'll get the Wooden Award winners.
Right. And I feel like it's interesting that it was a all Big Ten region for that set of awards,
Yep.
which it was their first year in the Big Ten, and they play a different style than Big Ten basketball. The LA teams do, and it's more like the leftover Pac-12 teams play different style of ball than Big Ten. Big Ten's real physical and a slower pace game. The only team that I really expected to be able to keep up with them shooting wise would be Iowa, because they play a similar type of offense as that. But man, LA teams came in and really did it big this year in Big Ten basketball.
Yep, they sure did. Can't be mad at it because
No, it is what it is.
they handle business. They handle business, and it is what it is. So,
Absolutely.
but now we can get to the news that she
Yeah.
wants to talk about. I talked about this with Cole Johnson on the men's side and how crazy it was. It's not as many women on this side, but it's the names that are in
Right.
this that are crazy. So let's go to the transfer portal.
Whew.
Look at the three stars that are in the transfer portal. Here you go.
Right.
Where you want to start at?
I guess let's start with FSU because that was really the first round of news I think we got.
The leading scorer in college basketball, Tanaya Latis, into the transfer portal. And when her name into the transfer portal, I found out something interesting, which is scary for everybody who doesn't like South Carolina.
Oh, right. Yeah.
If you don't do your research, you know who she played with in high school? One Raven Johnson.
Right. Indeed. And there was some interactions online that kind of led for us to believe that she's probably going to end up at South Carolina. Now that domino hasn't quite fallen just yet. However, I think we're going to wait and see after South Carolina's tournament run, and then we'll know a little bit more.
So if you don't like South Carolina, be very cautious. Because the leading scorer might be one to team up with her high school teammates up in Columbia, South Carolina.
Right.
Another star name in the transfer portal?
Ooh.
Cody McMahon from Ohio State. Didn't see
I
that.
don't know that this was really a surprise, but it's still a move with a lot of weight. Cody was frustrated at the end of the season, and OSU is always there within the top 19 and up. So they always have some validity. They may not be a top 5 team, but they're there. You definitely have to pay attention to them. It's Big Ten style basketball. Like I said, it's physical. And it wears you down. But Cody was not ready for the pressure that came from the LA teams. And we kind of saw a little bit of this breakdown last year as well. And I had hoped to see her develop more this year, and I haven't seen that. Now, I heard a lot of people saying that she would fit in down at LSU, and I don't hate that pickup whatsoever. Kim needs somebody to come in and probably fill that role with that big personality, and Cody has that.
Did you say LSU?
I did.
Gosh, not LSU.
Now, and y'all know I'm not a Kim fan, but she does well when she has somebody that, like I said, has that big personality. She allows, we've seen Flau'jae say this, that Kim allows them to be exactly who they are. Like when she was recruiting Flau'jae, the main thing she did was take her by the studio because she knew that that's what she wants to do outside of basketball. And I think that was a power move by Kim. I hate that. I hate complimenting her, but it was a good move. And I think, Cody actually might fit right in with her. It's not like when we heard HBL was going to LSU and we're all like, If she decides to go to LSU, I think it probably is a good fit.
By the way, Kim Market is in the headlines, by the way. and the thing about it is, I love it. I actually love it. I loved it. Y'all can be mad at her if you want to, but guess what? You don't start your question with a statement right after they lost. You just don't do that.
No, you don't do that. I do think that the reporter sounded young that asked that question. And as we all know, sometimes we get schooled in those situations. Sometimes you're, just to kind of play devil's advocate here, I guess, in a press conference, you're waiting in line to go and somebody says your question before you even get there. And your hand's already raised and you're next in line and they call your name. And what do? You have to make up a question quick, fast, and in a hurry. So never know what led to that situation. I've definitely been there. I'll say that. I haven't had to get schooled by Kim Mulkey, but I've been there where it didn't go well in a press conference.
They're saying you do not start your question.
No, you don't.
No, I'm just telling. I'm talking. You do not start your question by saying this is your second consecutive Elite Eight exit. You don't start it that way.
No, you certainly do not. I guarantee he'll never do that again.
This I don't care. Even Stephen A. Smith didn't like it, but guess what? And you know I'm a Stephen A. Smith fan. You're wrong, sir. I loved it. Cause guess what? She
Right.
just asked the question: Was that good or terrible? Then he answered terrible. Like you must not understand how hard it is to get to Elite Eight.
Right, top 8 in the country. Like that is not terrible. No, no, she was right with what she said. It was, she was a little rough with it, but that's Kim for you. You got to know who you're dealing with.
So Kim Mulkey, I'm with you. And surprisingly, the Queen of Hoops is with you too.
I actually am.
And then the big news:
The big news, yeah. So
Notre Dame Olivia Miles will
right.
not be going to the WNBA draft, but that's really not the most shocking news. The shocking news is she's entered the transfer portal.
Right. Now when she decided to forego the draft, I wasn't super surprised, even though so she's projected to go number 2. There were thoughts of her possibly going number 1 when Paige was struggling a little bit this season, but obviously Paige found her groove, and it became clear who the 1 and the 2 were, and it was not, there was no question out there. So that means that Liv would go to Seattle, and I don't necessarily think it's a money thing. Your nil deals, they transfer when you get out. Like they're called endorsement deals after that. We all know that. Like they don't just go away once you become a pro. And so I don't think it was necessarily money, but I think she wanted her development to be a little bit more, and she couldn't see it there at Notre Dame anymore. And there's been 2 other players that have hit the portal since then, or actually I think more than that. And there were, I think there's only 3 left that were at the tournament on the roster. So wow. She got to start questioning things with Niele with that many that are leaving Notre Dame. I think she's a great coach, but something happened this year. So I'm not sure. I'm not privy to what happened behind the scenes there, but something happened.
See, I ain't know about the other people that left Notre Dame.
Yeah, there's like 4 other people that hit the portal besides Liv.
Because when news broke, people try to put Olivia Miles against Hannah Hardwood. I'm like, they play very well together.
I don't know that it's necessarily that. I do think that Niele needs to get a hold of Hannah a little bit more. And while it is her team, and you still have to play with a team and be a part of a team. It's not the Hannah Hidalgo team. It's the Notre Dame team.
So, but hey. Unfortunately, they took the Sweet 16 exit to the TCU Horned Frogs. And now Olivia Miles is in the transfer portal. So we have 3 stars we're looking at. Where would they go for 2025 season?
I don't know where Liv ends up. I've heard that TCU is the favorite, and that would be crazy. That's a Kevin Durant move to go join the team that put you out. So I don't know that I'd necessarily like that move just because of that. But if it's the right fit for her, then it's the right fit for her. I think that that's an excellent coach there at TCU. And he's a really positive person. So he could bring out some good in her, but definitely going to the Big 12 is a step down, in my opinion.
And think about it is, if somebody does go to TCU, it wouldn't surprise me because of how Haley Van Lith spoke about him.